Okay, so here we are. So now we're about to meet the contemplative. Okay, in verse 50, Nicodemus. Okay, who had gone to Jesus earlier, who was one of their own number, asked, "Does any of our law condemn anyone without first hearing him to find out what he is doing?" And they replied, "Are you from Galilee too? Look into it, and you'll find that there is no prophet that had come out of Galilee." Okay, Nicodemus. Okay, fast track. Re-up on who he was. Okay, Nicodemus, remember this dude, right? He goes to Jesus. He's this dude's top of the tops. I mean, like, cream of the crop. I mean, he's a Pharisee, and he's a ruler of the people. You're talking about top 70, that's Pharisee. Or, I'm sorry, no, top 200, that's Pharisee. And then the top 70 of the 200 of the entire land. It's like, out of the millions and millions of people, this dude was like the premier person. And he goes to Jesus, and he's like, "Jesus, what's up with this, stuff, and you're obviously from God. I mean, that nobody else can do the kind of works you're doing." And he's like, "Okay, Nicodemus, you gotta be born again." We're talking about Jesus. I'm old, man. How do I get back into my mom and have my mom birth me again? How's that possible? I can't be born again. And Jesus is like, "Look, I'm talking about, being born in the spirit. You gotta be born again." And he's talking spiritual. Nicodemus is thinking flesh, and so it goes over his head. Okay, but Nicodemus is still contemplating. He's like, "Okay, look, they don't like you. They're talking about you. I'm a part of the group. They don't like you. But there's something about you. I can't deny it. I need to think about this. Let me get back to you. I'm gonna think about this." Okay, so we still see a little bit of belief in Nicodemus, and even right here, he speaks out. In his own group, he speaks out. Now I want you to see something. Here's something that we go through. Okay, so he's speaking out, and here's what they do. They say to him, "Are you from Galilee too?" Okay, now let me, real quick, Galilee, here's what it is. You have Jerusalem. Jerusalem is the center, it's the hub. Okay, the further you are away from Jerusalem, the more of a dirty dog you are in the eyes of a religious Pharisee. They're thinking, no, see, if you're religious, if you love God and stuff, you're going to stay right in Jerusalem. Okay, but if you go farther out, then you're not even worthy. You're just, Galilee is on the outers. It's on the outer rim. Okay, and so they don't like Galilee. Galilee is the Galilee of the Gentiles, which is the Galilee of, the Jews don't like the Gentiles. Okay, so what they're doing right away is they're dissing them. They're like, "Are you from there? Come on, nigga, I thought I knew you, man. You from Galilee?" And they diss him, man, because he's standing up for Christ. He's like, "Look, our law said that. You gotta at least hear him out first. Come on now." And in his own group, they put him out. They put him down. Okay, that's pretty much what we get sometimes. I don't know if you guys have ever done that yet, but when you choose to step out and you're like, "Hey, look, man, Jesus. Are you like some religious nut?" When did you get so religious? Don't talk to me about Christ. That's why you're like some lunatic weirdo. It's like, dang, I thought we knew each other ever since we was little ones. How you gonna diss that? You know what I mean? We're together, right? Nicodemus spent a lot of time with his people, with the Pharisees, and on a moment they turn on him. And what that tells you is this, right? Christ has come to divide. He's come to divide, okay? He says this, you with me or you against me? You know what I mean? And even if you choose to be with me, your mom may not, your dad may not, your friends may not, But that's the decision you gotta make. Am I worth it? Am I worth it? You know what I mean? Am I worth you cutting your relationship with a friend who's like, "I will do everything else with you, man. I'll rob, steal, and kill with you, but I will not go to church, and I will not read the Bible, and I will not pray with you, and I don't want to get into God stuff. Just leave me alone with that. But I'm down for you. I die for you." It's kind of weird. It really puts it into perspective. That's not really what, choose Christ. That's really what I can tell you today is just choose Him, okay? Okay, so look at the contemplative, okay? So he's thinking. And here they are, and once again, we talked about how, there's this thing called non-seeking judgment, okay? Here's what happens with people. We go up to them and we tell them, "Hey, Jesus," and then here's the, "I already know about Jesus. Don't give me that." Really, what you know? I know He's in the Bible. Okay, have you read the Bible? No, but I don't need to read that. It's like, man, you made your judgment and you didn't even seek. You didn't even look. Because what happened, if they would have looked, they would have saw that many prophets had come from Galilee. They would have looked in and they would have saw that Jesus fit the character. He is the one. But they decided, no, I'm going to write him off. And that's not what we want to be. So, in closure, I'm not even sure if we're trying to end stuff right now, but here's what it gets down to, right? We are one of the four. So which one are we? Are we the convinced? Are we the contrary? Are we the confused? Or are we the contemplative? So here's what it gets down to. Okay, Nicodemus, he contemplated. He said, you know what, let me take a minute. I'm not going to quite, commit to you quite yet. Let me think about this first. Later down the road, he becomes a disciple. But here's the thing, okay? Here's a very dangerous ground I want to warn you guys about. The very dangerous ground is this. Nicodemus rolled the dice and he took the chance. He's like, you know what? I'm not quite convinced yet. I'm not going to quite make you my Savior. I'm not going to quite make you my Lord. Because I still got to investigate. But while I'm doing this, I'm rolling the dice. Because any moment I can die. What happens if I get stricken by a plague or somebody kill me? What if I get assassinated? What if something bad happens to me? What if I get sick and I die or something? Because if you do that and you're still contemplating, you're not quite committed, you're not like, geez, you're my Lord and Savior. I made up my mind today, I'm convinced. I'm in the convinced category. And you die before that moment, you're done. You're done. Remember how we read about the rich man and Lazarus? Rich man had it all. He thought he was good. He thought, people looked, oh, you must be blessed. God must love you. Only to die and wake up in hell. And he's like, what happened to me? What happened? So the whole point is this. You could die when you fall asleep. I ain't saying you're gonna. All I'm saying you can. A straight bullet nowadays, boom, whatever the case may be. But do you want to take the risk of still contemplating? Let me think about it. I've heard people be, you know what, man, I'll think about it, but I'll tell you what, I'll probably most likely do it when I'm on my deathbed. Like before they pull the trigger and 3, 2, 1, unplug them so he can die now. Okay, God, I'll give you my life. They think they can laugh. They think they have it up until then, but they don't. Any of you guys can guarantee you're gonna be here like in 10 years? You don't really know. We don't know. Some of you guys might live to be 90 or 120, whatever, but all I'm saying is we hear about people dying all the time. Nicodemus took a chance. Here's the thing I want to ask you guys not to do is don't take a chance. Don't. Okay? We know this. Jesus is the parachute, right? The plane's going to crash. How many of you guys going to live forever? Right? Seriously, like right now in the flesh. We're going to live forever? No, you're going to eventually, right? You're going to eventually kick the bucket, right? We just know it. I hate to say it, but we're going to kick the bucket, whether it be at 90 or whether it be like right now. But the plane will crash. How many of us have Jesus as a parachute? You know what I mean? That's what it gets down to. Okay, so look it. And if you guys know it, congratulations. Excellent. Right? But how many of your moms and your dads and those that you love, how many of them know it? And how many of them have Jesus? Which category are they in? Are they already convinced? Are they like, no, I don't believe? Or are they, well, I'm not even sure, but I don't really care? Or are they like, you know what? Tell me more. I'm curious. I'm not going to quite go that far, but I'm curious. So, we handed out flyers, which is awesome. What we want to eventually get into is actually talking to people about salvation. And that's what we're going to work for. We're going to learn. We're going to equip. And we're going to be like, you know what? I want to invite you to the youth group, but here's what I'm really here to talk to you about. Right? Like Jesus. And then you're going to be like, okay, wait. Okay, you're still good? Okay, good. So Jesus, And you're going to talk to them. Do you have him? Is he in your heart? Are you gonna live with him? Is he your Lord and Savior? Do you love him? Are you getting to know him? And you're going to get into that, and you're going to see all reactions. You're going to finally walk in the steps of Jesus.